Hi, everybody. I am here with Ultimate Girl Boss, Miss Jessica Mazzucca. She is with Jessica Mazzucca Fitness. She and I go way back. We actually met all the way back in elementary school in a private Christian school. And we went through high school. She was actually a grade ahead of me. We recently reconnected. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I just wanted to give a quick introduction of who she is. She is a personal trainer. She is one of the women I really look up to, and I really want to encourage people to follow her as one of the women to know and follow. So I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Okay.
Hi, Jess.
Hi. Thank you, Lauren. Happy to be here. Yep. As Lauren stated, yeah, we've known each other a very, very long time. We go way back. She reached out to me to do an interview and kind of go over a few things regarding fitness, nutrition, about my business that I do have. And so here we are.
I'm so excited that you're here. The reason I want everybody to follow you is because you live a lifestyle that I really love and appreciate, and I want to achieve for myself as a new mom, because you are a mom to two beautiful children. How old are they?
Dominic is almost 10 and Rosalind is 6.
Amazing. And, health and fitness, nutrition, there's just so much that goes into it. Like, we've talked about it, we've shared a few things. Like, a huge reason I want to do it is I want to be the best version of myself for my son. I want to be his greatest example. I want him to understand, what we put into our bodies, like what it can actually do to ourselves. This goes for a lot of things. But for as far as goes with like fitness and stuff, mental aspect for me has been like a huge thing. Like fitness, nutrition, once I let go of alcohol, really gave up a lot of sugar, processed foods, things like that. My energy came up. I started to feel a lot better. My confidence started to come in. And of course, I started to shed some weight. I mean, that's what's going to happen when you eat right and you move your body with intention. And so, I really gravitated towards you for a lot of reasons. Like, you definitely are super fit. Let's put it out there. Anybody can go to your social media and see your videos and go, dang, this girl knows exactly what she's doing. But also, like, I love everything that you do with Rosie, and we're going to get into her story as well. But, I gravitated towards you because I was like, inspired by you. I was like, this woman here works hard. You work hard on everything that you put out there, like your food. And I look at your food and I go, dang, that girl can eat. And she's eating carbs too, which I'm like blown away by. Okay, we're going to get into that as well. But, I look at you and I wanted you to be a part of the Women to Know and Follow for several reasons. So let's just go ahead and dive into some of our questions. When did you discover your passion for fitness and training others?
Well, if we go back to 2014, post having Dominic, obviously we all know that once you have a child, everything is stretched out. Pelvic floor muscles, abdominal muscles. It was a lot. You just literally carried life for 9 months. And I was suffering with a lot of lower back pain. I lost the baby weight pretty quickly. So that wasn't really an issue, but I still didn't feel strong. Like every time I picked him up, or if you sneezed and you had the leakage of, it's just nothing felt right. And again, the lower back pain is what really took over. So I was like, well, what can I do? The very first thing that I ever did was Pilates. It's a DVD video, Denise Austin's Pilates. My mom had always done it. So I was like, you know what, I'll just start there and see. And that's kind of where it took off. And then I kind of got more courage to go to the gym because I feel like there's a lot of fear out there. It's like, if you go in, do you look like, you know what you're doing? Or so I didn't want to just go and use cardio machines. So I hired my own personal trainer, and she trained me and was like, you're a natural at this. Like, you really understand that mind to muscle connection and whatnot. And so I felt, you know what, I can do this too. So after realizing that I needed to gain strength and be able to do daily things. And at that point, I still worked at the Patio Pancake restaurant here. So carrying plates, all of it just kind of came together. And I was like, I love doing this for me. for my son in being strong. So why not just go in and get a certification? And I wanted to learn more. It came down to that. I wasn't ready to actually help people quite yet there, but I wanted to learn more for me. And then it's just been fueled ever since, especially with Rosie. Like it brought up so much more of, helping people, training people, showing them the right ways, because on social media platforms, there are a lot of us out there, trainers. There's a lot, a lot of people get certified, but you also see a lot of wrong moves, a lot of crazy moves that just don't really need to be used. And so
Yes.
correct form to me is of the utmost importance when it comes to it.
Absolutely. I mean, Jessica's been following my story as well. And I just finished this 100-day meltdown. And I was so mad at one particular video because when I did it in the past, I actually hurt myself because it was swinging weights. Like you bend over, you swing a weight, and
Kettlebell.
my back just shot out. And I was so angry because I wasn't taught like to breathe properly and all these things. So yeah, I definitely that was upsetting.
Yeah.
Moving on. I would love to talk a bit about Rosie and her journey. Can you just
Yeah.
explain what happened with her and what she's up to now?
So, okay, when I was pregnant, the doctors, Rosalind's neurosurgeon, let's start there, said that it could have been a stroke in utero. Okay. So I had Rosie, pregnancy was fine. I had her, my birth went fine. It was actually a very quick birth. I'd labored all day and had no clue. Like she was out in 4 hours. Everything was beautiful. At 2 months, we had our well child checkup and they noticed that her head had gotten really large. But it kind of went undetected by my husband and I because, to be honest, he has a large head. So we just thought, okay, the kids, you're around someone so much day in, day out, nurturing this life that you just had. We didn't see it. If we look back now at pictures, it's like, how could we have missed that as parents? But it's in the past. So we ended up zipping up to Colorado Springs to Children's. They did MRIs, a bunch of tests, and they came back and said, well, your daughter has hydrocephalus. I've never heard of that. And I'm like, what is this? Dumbfounded. And they're like, what that is an accumulation of cerebral spinal fluid in the brain. It's not draining. So if you think how ours work naturally, it flows out the back of our brain and downward, right? Hers was just building up and building up. So it literally was like making her everything enlarge, because if you think her brain wasn't fused together at that point, right? Not the brain, excuse me. Her skull bones weren't fused. So everything was protruding. So she had to go in for emergency brain surgery. What they did was relieve the pressure and they put in what's called a shunt. So it's just like a pressure valve. When the cerebral spinal fluid or pressure builds up, it opens a valve and releases. And she has a tube now that's on her right side that comes down behind and into her stomach cavity, and it drains it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So she had that surgery. We spent 30 days, give or take, in NICU. Getting her better, because after that she was having seizures and just trying to really, get this poor life stable, in other words, right? So fast forward maybe like a year and they're like, well, she needs to have, physical and occupational therapy because she has left side weakness from what they would consider a stroke, so she's got to get that strength built up. So between now and then, we've just truly been working on her strength, her stamina, giving her the courage to realize that it's going to be harder for you to do things, but you can do them. Like, don't let this stop you. Push through, and she has days where it's hard. There's some things like more so her left hand. It's really hard for those very fine motor skills, and she'll get that and frustrated, but she's always, most of the time, like 99%, this girl is all smiles. She's happy go lucky. She pushes through, and that's a big thing with me in the fitness, is that she sees me working out and she comes out and wants to do this. She wants to learn more, right? So we travel weekly for therapy to Springs, occupational and physical. Yearly, we do like camps or intensives where she's there for 3 to 4 days a week, 3 hours a day, really hitting it hard. And then they'll give her like a month off, which will still do things at home. So she's getting there. I mean, cognitively, we were never sure. There are some poor kids out there that aren't cognitively with us, right? but Rosalind she's reading, she's learning. So it could be way worse. I'm truly grateful for where we're at. Like, it was a huge bump in the road, but I also feel
Yeah.
like all of this was kind of like planned in a way somehow, you know what I mean? Like, learning all of the fitness that I've done, like the certifications and everything, has really helped with her, because I feel like I know, well, shouldn't say I feel, I do know correct technique with things, right? Like, if she's trying to do something and it doesn't look right, we can help tweak it. So that's kind of her story is, yeah, she has hydrocephalus, but she's doing amazing. She is.
I do have a question about that. Is the shunt in her head, is that permanent?
Yes. So at her last MRI last year, we did see some normal flow out the back of her brain, but they
Okay.
said that we'll never go in and remove it, even if she has full on normal flow, just because right now, with it being in her head, knock on wood, she's never had a revision, because these fail a lot. You have to think they're just a mechanical device in somebody's brain. I have seen kids that are Rosalind's age that have had 40 plus surgeries. So they're like, why mess with something if it's not causing an issue, right? But again, it's just mild flow, so she's gonna need it for life. Will her brain need to use it per se for life? Maybe not. She might get that normal flow, but they'll never take it out. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so like happy to hear that she is doing so well
Mhm.
compared to other children that have the exact same thing that had happened to them. We just have to count our blessings and, have our faith. And I know that you and I have shared that before. Like, she literally is quite the firecracker.
She is.
Every post that you put up of her, I'm just gravitated towards her smile.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. She literally has such a light about her
she
and
does.
such like a spirit about her. And I think she is just such a special kid. And I always love seeing whatever you post about her, because we all definitely want to see it. I
Mhm.
think it's especially for, parents that do have disabilities with like their children, like it is difficult. You know, you're expecting like a healthy child, and when this bump in the road happens, like I'm sure a lot of feelings came out of that for you guys. Like,
Oh,
how did you guys handle that?
so I mean, I still struggle with it sometimes, like, if I'm being honest, because like I call it my rabbit hole, sometimes spiral down it, and I'll have to reach out to Anthony or my mom and my sister and talk to them. And I think, like, what if she has to have a revision? What if this one fails and it's constant surgery? But I'm like, I have to stop. Like, I have to tell myself, you can't do that. You don't know the future. You can't change anything, and you have to just go day by day with it, because I have another child that, needs me to just suck it up and be here and be strong, and not be this mom that's deep in her thoughts, right? Like, it is, oh, I don't even know how to explain it. It's crazy to think about. I've seen people when I was younger, and they've had, children with disabilities, and I'm always like, oh, okay, whew. And then I had Dominic, and I was like, okay, we're in the clear, like, and then we had Rozzy, and I was like, how is this happening to us? Like, why, But I also feel like now that she's older and she's coming into her, her own little self and stuff, it's like her sassiness, it works for her through this. You know what I mean? Because if she has a goal, she'll do it because she wants it. You know what I mean? And that I love. It is motivating for me. And it's truly inspiring to see her push through a situation that's not so fair. It's not fair for anyone to have to go through that, to have to watch your kid go through anything as a parent is, even when they get sick, you want to take it for them,
Right.
and get better, and then you're done. But this is like lifelong. And so it's like, you just have to count your blessings. You have to be excited for the little victories and the wins. And her neurosurgeon told me before we left the hospital, he's like, just remember that this is a marathon, not a race. This is lifelong for her. She's always going to need therapy. She's always going to need to be, moving, and things might be a little bit harder, but, just work with her and she can do that. And so we do.
Well, thank God you're her mother, Jess, because you're showing her the way as
Thank
far as
you.
it goes with taking care of herself properly, as well as like in good form and good spirits. Like, I think it's a total God thing.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about this,
Yep.
that, you started your fitness journey before you ever had to even imagine that you would have to train your daughter.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's honestly, it's a beautiful part of your story. And Rozzy is just so amazing. But as far as it goes with like, children with disabilities, like where can moms find support and community? Because I'm sure
So
you have.
a lot of places that I have found, and I've only searched through like direct hydrocephalus, cerebral palsy, has been social media. I've reached out, I've connected with a lot of women that way. And I feel like a lot of websites will have certain, like cerebral palsy websites will have areas that you can go and connect, whether that's a certain chat or whether you can find a social media handle name, so to speak, and then connect that way. There are some, like I said, women I still speak with. And then there's also platforms that I don't follow anymore just for the mental aspect, because some of it is always very discouraging and sad. And
Yeah.
me and my family, we have to just keep pressing, like, and staying positive, for Roslyn. We can't dwell on, I pray for others, but I can't dwell on their stuff. So some things I don't follow, and it's just to each their own, however you can do it. But I'd say the biggest thing would be looking through social medias and, being able to reach out to people that way.
I understand. I literally will be on social media and some days where I'm like, I can't cry today. I can't cry today. So I have to
Mhm.
scroll past the soldiers coming home, the animal adoption. I'm
Yes.
like,
It
today is
can
not that
be,
good.
social media can be so inspiring, but it can be so dreadful and sad too. I mean, just like the news. So it's like you have to pick for yourself what you want to see and listen to. And
100%. It's what we've talked about before about, what we feed our bodies. It's also what we feed our minds. It's what we feed our souls. Like
Mhm.
it just, it's a balance, man. It
Yeah,
is such a balance. And you have to be very aware of what you are watching and what you're listening
exactly.
to. You'll fall down many a rabbit hole.
Exactly. Yes.
Um, I want to kind of get back on track here as far as it goes with like training and health because you and I are going to be starting our journey together tomorrow, which I am so excited about because
Hmm.
I need like that extra edge, that push, because I've been doing this all on my own. I've lost 19 pounds now. My baby weight is
Great.
officially gone. I'm jazzed because I thought for sure it would take me a whole year and it didn't.
Good.
Um, but I've been doing it with like my Beachbody workout videos and stuff. I've been working with Beachbody for a very long time. But now that I get to actually have a trainer next to me, like I'm so excited to start that with you. So I just want to talk a little bit about whole foods versus processed foods, and can eating processed foods affect your mood and energy?
Okay, so let's start with whole foods and what they are. I always like to refer back to 1800s and way further back. You had farms that had gardens, pigs,
Yes.
cows, goats. You had berries from trees, or, you have your spices, fish, anything that is not boxed or is not fast food, right? And when you walk into a Safeway or a Walmart or Kroger or any of those stores, if you go over to fresh produce, eggs, I mean, all of that, chicken, that is what is considered wholesome foods. They said foods with the mother, foods from the earth. So that is whole foods.
Yes.
Processed foods are anything in a box, fast food, the pizzas, the frozen aisles. I mean, frozen veggies are definitely, you always want to do fresh, but those are still okay versus, other not processed, other boxed foods, so to speak. So yeah,
Right.
wholesome foods, like basically that are from the mother, from the earth, that have been grown from a farm. Not so much like when you see, I mean, more organic farms, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like bigger facilities that are pumping animals full of, all of the unnecessary stuff. And then that gets transferred into our bodies. So I always say people don't think that organic truly is organic, but when you do your searches and you really look at where you're getting your products from, it is. And it does make a difference because, again, you are what you eat. And if we're eating foods that are full of preservatives and hormones and stuff, that's going into you as well.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel whole foods versus processed foods are.
Yeah.
Processed has, it has a shelf life. It lasts you a year or so, but what's in that to make it last a year?
Right. I
Yeah.
have a little bit of a rule for myself when I go grocery shopping. I like to stay on the outside of the grocery store because that is all the, whole
Yep.
foods,
Meat,
like
eggs, dairy, yogurts, cheese.
absolutely.
Yes.
And once I go down the aisles, I have to go, okay, I'm coming down the aisle for my coffee filters. I am
Yep.
coming down this aisle for X, Y, and Z,
Exactly.
the cleaning products. I am ignoring all this
Mhm.
stuff I used to love to eat. And back in my 20s, it was a lot easier to eat.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we all fall prey to wanting it because we're
Mhm.
human and stuff. But preservative processed foods, it really does play a role in your mood. If
Yeah.
you're bloated and sluggish and you don't feel well in general overall, I always like to tell clients or people who just reach out and have questions, really try for a week, just a week, to eat clean, wholesome foods. Like when you're craving chips, grab a carrot for that crunch. You know what I mean? Like, and truly see the difference in how you feel because I guarantee you, you will have more energy. You are not going to feel bloated. The inflammation will subside, the aches and pains. It's truly amazing because, let's say if you go on a vacation, you're going to want to splurge. But I guarantee when you get back from vacation and you get back on the cycle of your clean food, you can feel that difference. You'll be like, oh, wow. Like, and it takes a while, but eventually you get to know your body to that point and you know
Right.
what affects you and what doesn't. And is this worth eating or not anymore? Yeah.
Right. I definitely eat cleaner just for my mood's sake.
Yes.
Honest to God. It's not even about like the weight gain or anything like that. Like that for me is pure vanity on my end. Like I want to feel good about myself in that sense, but really and truly like I notice a difference when I eat like crap for like a few days. I
Mhm.
notice my mood. I am not fun to be around. I am exhausted all the time.
Yes.
So it's a huge game changer when you actually give yourself the opportunity to just try, like you said.
Hmm.
My sister was the one that encouraged me when I started to lose weight for my wedding to read ingredients on even my spices. She was like, Lauren, please look at your ingredients and your spices. Even if there's sugar in it, put it aside. Like don't feed the sugar addict when you don't need to. Because I
Yes.
mean it can be hidden everywhere. And
Hmm.
I mean, certainly other things like what is it? Like the gluten-free stuff, like if I can't read certain ingredients, if it's like the 13 letter long
Yes.
crazy,
Yes.
I'm
Keep
like,
it
what
simple,
is that?
simple ingredients. I mean, if you do want to find something that is boxed, try yes, because there's Trader Joe's and stuff. Like some of their rice comes in a box. You cook it in the microwave. Look at the ingredients. If it's 4 or 5 ingredients, yeah, you're okay. If you see a paragraph of things that you don't know, why would you want to risk putting that into you? Because
Right.
chances are it's nothing that you need. And yeah, we have an
Yeah,
issue with that in the United States.
we really do, honestly. I mean, I could go on about that, especially with like childhood obesity. I mean, it's epidemic. It's just sad.
Yeah.
Honest to God, it's just sad. Um, but like since we're on the subject of like, I guess splurging on food now and then because we are human. What is your 80-20 rule? We have talked about that.
Okay, so with 80-20, I wanted to say I don't want to call it a rule. I want to say it's a lifestyle because in
That
all reality, we all really should strive for 80% of the time we are consuming wholesome, healthy, nutritious foods. And 20% of the time we're having the sugar, the donut, the caramel latte, we're giving ourselves that because, again, we're human. We're going to crave it. We're going to want it. And that is where I feel a lot of fitness and nutrition, when you start your journey, a lot of people fall prey and they derail because they block it out completely and they don't allow the treats. I'm never going to have a client and tell them they can't have it because it's not real. It doesn't work that way because I have it. I'm not going to tell you something I don't have. Do I have ice cream with my kids? Yes, I do. Do I love a good donut? Oh my gosh, I love donuts. I can eat them all the time. But that's where you as a person, as an adult, has to find that balance. It is truly balance in a lifestyle. And I feel like
Right.
when somebody masters that and truly understands, like, it's kind of like a mindset. Like, you have to sometimes tell yourself, yeah, you don't need that. Reach for the healthier option. Because a lot of people use the phrase their cheat days and stuff, and I really don't even like that. It's not cheating. You're eating to eat. We're eating. It's just being mindful 80% of the time and knowing that 80% of the time our bodies need those wholesome, good foods. They run on that. They thrive on that. If we're constantly consuming sugars and processed foods, we don't function like we should.
Right.
We truly don't. Like, there's so many chronic illnesses out there brought on by horrible foods and lack of movement. And people think, oh my gosh, I have to go into the doctor for this or that. And again, I'm not a doctor, so there could be issues that need help with. I'm just a fitness trainer, nutrition coach. But for the most part, look at how you eat and address it from there. Start working from the inside out with your body. Like, feed it good food, So I would say more so it could be a rule when you're training to start, but I would love to see it be a lifestyle because you don't want to just constantly do fads and yo-yo dieting. You want to find balance with it and a good relationship with food and know that, okay, I am active 3 to 4 days a week. If I want a bowl of Captain Crunch, okay, I'm going to do it because guess what? I'm human, I'm active, and 80% of the time I'm giving my body what it needs to thrive. So why not have a little bit of junk here and there?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've fallen victim so many times, and like I love Pinterest. That's my jam. I'm on Pinterest all the time.
I like
Get
it
my
too.
ideas from there. But I mean, when I first started with Pinterest, I was looking up like how to lose weight fast, and I would fall onto these things that was like 10 pounds in 5 days guaranteed. And then I'd read on it and it was like 2 hard-boiled eggs and lemon water first day. And I'm like, what in the world is this? And did I try it? Absolutely, because I was that desperate. But when I started my journey, August 2023, my son was born in June 2023. I literally had this fresh mindset of, I don't care how long it takes because I'm not planning on going anywhere. I don't have like this hard deadline or a goal to me. Like, I just want to get my happiness, but I also want to get healthier, stronger, like all of these things. And I think it's really irresponsible to put those type of things out there for people because I think when you do the crash yo-yo dieting stuff, you can actually fall victim into eating disorders. And I mean, it's a scary place to be for people. I just want them to understand if you do eat healthier and you do move your body, it's going to shift for you.
100%. Yes. Oh, definitely. And I agree. If you see the 2 eggs in the lemon water, okay, yes, you're going to lose weight and probably very quickly if you do that. But let's go into what's the long side effects of it after. Okay.
Yes.
You do it for a week or two and you've lost the weight, but then you're starving. So now you're going to binge and start eating. Then here comes the weight. Or your body's in flight or fight mode and it thinks, why am I starving? I mean, it's hormone related. It's everything it's not good. And you know what I mean? In the long run, it really isn't. Our body has a certain amount of calories it needs in a day, just like this, just sitting to be alive and thrive. So 2 hard-boiled eggs and a glass of hot water and lemon is not cutting the mustard. Okay. So then, you're throwing your body into a very horrible spiral of many different things that could happen. So yes, everyone's going to look different too, how their calories are for what they need in a day. That's going to look different because it's based off of age, height, weight, your activity level. But everyone needs at least 1,200 or more a day, give or take. So that
Yeah.
obviously is not enough. And yeah, those are out there. It is a lot of fad diets and drinks. And like you said, it's very, very simple. Be intentional with your movement and eat wholesome foods. And then slowly just watch it happen. Go outside and get some vitamin D, be mindful of, again, of maybe like a vitamin, like multivitamin or stuff, just little things that you can start implementing or things you can get rid of. When I was drinking coffee years ago, loved creamer in my coffee. I have since cut out creamer. I love black coffee, but it's little steps like that. Like, hey, where can I cut out things here and there that are sugary that might make a difference, and not forever. And some people might not agree with that and think, well, isn't that your 80-20 rule lifestyle? But it's just, you have to also work for it and want these little changes as well. You can't expect to just go out and do all the processed food stuff and work out and think it's going to work. Fitness and nutrition, it goes in hand, but nutrition is the bigger key here. You cannot outtrain with a poor diet. You cannot do it. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot live on processed foods and think that you're going to see results. You have to incorporate the wholesome, the good foods.
Right. And I've come to find this love of being back in my kitchen, because I mean, you get it. You and I have talked about the server lifestyle, especially like if you're working at work with food around you, it's easier to just order the employee meal and eat while you're standing, while you're still serving tables. That lifestyle is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've derailed. I don't even know what I was just talking about. Forgive my mom brain. Holy cow. I completely lost it. Let's just move on. Let's see here. Oh, this is a big one. Can we talk about alcohol and trying to lose weight? Can we talk about that for a second?
Okay. So to me, let's just start with the basics. Alcohol slows down your metabolism. Plain and simple. If you have a glass of wine a night, it might not really be that bad in the beginning. But let's say you have more than a glass a night, you're starting to affect your sleep cycle, like getting into a deep sleep. And our livers have to break down the alcohol first, right? So if you have 3 shots of tequila and you've eaten all day and then you go and eat more food, because let's face it, when people drink and get a little happy, it's like, oh, I'm hungry. Let's get the, loaded French fries and stuff. That is leaving no time for our bodies to push anything else through the liver, right? It's not giving us time for our livers to produce glucose that we need, which is our main source of energy. So it just basically stops everything. Our body wants to metabolize the alcohol first. So if you've been eating tons and tons of food, that's not going anywhere. That's how people get the weight gain and puffy and red, and because your liver is trying to constantly overcompensate for this toxin, and it's disrupting everything else in the long run. Again, I know that there's people out there that have their drinks and they still look great and they train. But they're not consistently every day doing it. It's here and there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to say something that people are going to be like, well, I drink and look at me, like I'm a trainer. So good on them. It slows down your metabolism, and your body wants to, like I said, metabolize that toxin first. And so then you're left with all of everything else you've consumed in a day. And we can't, not push it out, but we can't metabolize it because our body's trying to fight out this toxin due to the intake of alcohol.
Right. I mean, I can definitely talk about that for myself. Like, I started drinking when I was like 16, 17, because we came from a very small town and there was nothing else better to do other than get into trouble. So, I gave myself every excuse of why I wanted to be a drunk at 17. But that followed me after high school. It followed me to California when I moved out there. And, I didn't stop drinking until I got pregnant with my son. The moment I got pregnant with him, I was like, wow, I have to stop because I'm pregnant. Like, and thank God I have that mentality because I mean, a lot of women, they don't stop
Yeah.
their terrible habits of drinking, smoking, you name it. Um, but to me, I was like, golly, I really do have to be sober now. And I have not given myself that opportunity to be sober since I, honest to God, was like 15 years old. And, you know, I have struggled with my weight for so many years. And I knew, well, you can't lose weight off of alcohol. So I'm just going to skip meals so I can like continue to indulge in my alcohol, right? If I overdid it, then the next morning I would binge on a weird breakfast because I didn't feel good. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like,
So no,
it's
you're
just that
right.
it's
It's
a
a
vicious
cycle.
cycle. It's a
Yeah.
vicious, vicious cycle. And for myself, I knew that once I had my son, once I was done pumping, that was back in October, I thought, well, yeah, now I can have a margarita if I want because I love margaritas. Um, but I also knew if I go down that road again, I will not come back from this. Meaning I'm not going to get to my goals. Now I've talked about it. I don't know if I'm going to be sober for the rest of my life. I've told my husband, you know, the idea of us like going out on a date night and being able to have, you know, a glass of wine with him sounds amazing. But if I have to come home and be a mom, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like I I'd rather it be one of those times where I'm like, okay, cool, he's with Gigi and Pops for the night. Like you and I get to actually celebrate together and wake up in the morning and I get to go pick up my son. I just don't want to be that mom. But for myself, I knew I want to hit some weight loss goals. This has to be a sober road for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, a lot of people can have a drink or two on the weekends and still meet their goals. But for me, it was more about like the bartender lifestyle. I would get off of my late night shift. I would go to the bar next door and like, you know, they would do last call. And I mean, it was just this weird cycle that I was just so used to.
Yeah.
So I want to put it out there for people. Like, if you really do want results, get sober, be sober, you
Yeah,
know?
because it does, you're right. It plays a huge role in all of that because if you have no energy the next day to do it, and I mean, it's very addicting. Like if you can stop at 2 or 3, cool, and continue the rest of the week and you don't have any more, however it works out for people like that, but it just starts leading you into the same routine. And it, I mean, for some people, obviously, like you said, there are people out there that can still get to their goals and stuff, but it does, it just, it takes you down a road of where you're going to binge and eat food you maybe shouldn't. That's going to derail the process. Then you wake up and you don't feel like doing it. So it's just, yeah, if you have major goals in mind and one of them is just being as healthy as you can be, then maybe limit it to once or twice a month. Like you said, when you go out with your husband and you want that glass of wine, but a consistent every day. If there's someone out there that looks amazing and has the best results and is so healthy and can prove that to me, I'd like to see it. But everyday drinking, I don't know, like how your liver looks, I really don't know.
It's a fair point. I mean, it's like it's cupcakes for me. Like clearly it's donuts for you. It's a
Yeah.
cupcake for me. If I could have a cupcake every single day of my life, I'd be so happy.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
balance.
serve my body well. So when I feel like it and I
Mhm.
want my treat, I go and have my cupcake. But yeah, I think shedding the alcohol is a big part of just giving yourself the opportunity to meet your goals.
It is 100%.
Um, you know, we've also heard it time and time again that the older you are, the harder it is to um, actually turn it around and lose weight. I want to know what your thoughts are on that.
Okay, so I actually did a live recently on this and discussed that I feel like age is just a number. Is it going to be a little bit harder though when we age because maybe lack of movement, joint pain, the weight that we've gained not being active, our cardiovascular health has decreased because of it as, we get older? Yes, it will be harder, but it's definitely doable and it's possible. It all plays, comes down to, again, movement. How are we eating? What can we kind of maybe cut out, to help us hit those goals? and stuff. So
Right.
I definitely feel like there's a lady on Instagram I follow. Her name is Joanne. I can't think of her handle name right now, and I wish I could, but she is in her 70s and she started her weight loss journey. She looks amazing. She
Yeah.
looks amazing. This lady is shredded. I mean, she just looks great and it's phenomenal. She's a huge inspiration. I've commented on her stuff and she's talked to me which is awesome, but she is living proof that age is just a number and that you can do it. It just requires grit and the drive to want to do it. Um, you have to want it. And that's with anything in life. You have to want it. And it's mindset too. Like if you tell yourself, I can't do this, or oh my gosh, this sucks, or do I really have to? Your body eventually plays into that. Your mind plays into it. But when you feed yourself the positive thoughts and say, you know what, I can do this. Is it going to suck? Can I cry about it? Yes. But when you're happy and you want that and you want to get healthy for you and, the longevity, then it makes it that much easier. And it should be fun. Working out should not be a chore. If you hate it, then you need to take a break and come back to it because it truly is. I've always said, I'm never going to, not be grateful that I can move my body on the daily because I look at Rozzy and I think she just wants to be able to do things not normal because she's normal, but I mean, some things are harder. She would love to be
Yeah.
able to run as fast as her brother. You get what I'm saying? So I just never take it for granted. Just don't take it for granted because as soon as you can't do it, you're going to want to do it. So I just feel like if you want it hard enough, you'll make it work. You'll make it happen.
Right. I think with age as well as like, I want to say personality, you find the right type of movement for your lifestyle and for what like
Yes.
speaks on your heart. I've got two friends in California, Matt and Julia, and they are CrossFit trainers. And I mean,
Awesome.
well, or they're CrossFit people. I don't think they train anybody, but like I mean, this girl, she just had her baby, I think in July. I had mine in June. And I'm watching her videos and she's got the cutest baby bump and she literally is hanging from a bar and doing pull-ups. And I'm like, what in the
Yes.
world, girl?
Yes.
Like, incredible. That is not my take of fun. That is like putting way too much stress on me. Like it's not my lifestyle, but I enjoy my workouts solo in my gym because no one's around me. And it's such like that's where I get like my communication with God and like, all of my stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a very personal space for me to be vulnerable because I had bad experiences in public gyms that I hate public gyms. It's not for me. But, I found a big love for yoga again. Like
Oh,
I
good.
never really appreciated yoga, but once I started incorporating it into stretch days, like where, I'm still
Yes.
working out, I'm still moving
Yes.
my body intentionally,
100%.
but I'm now relaxing the muscles I just stressed out. And I
Mm-hmm.
started to really appreciate my yoga days because it did a lot more for me than just, my body. It was more about mental and stuff. But that's my point. I think at any age, you can find the right type of fitness for yourself,
Oh,
for your life.
definitely. You're right. I agree. It
Yeah.
has to be like, and I'm glad you brought this up because this was in my notes. I was going to say fitness is not, it's different for everybody. Their journey, every aspect of it is going to look and be different. And you're right. Some people don't necessarily do the type of, I would say mine is, I'm not a bodybuilder, but I feel like my exercises that I have in my gym are more bodybuilding for, what I do with
Right.
working out. And then you said CrossFitting. And we went to school with a girl too, Megan Granzella, now Megan Garfio.
Yes.
CrossFitter. She's truly an inspiration to me. She's absolutely
Yes.
amazing. And I can't CrossFit. Like there's some stuff that's similar. I feel squats, deadlifts, but for the most part, it is different from what I do, but it's still amazing to see her do it and work it. And it works for her. And but I don't do it. Are we both supportive? Are we getting results and doing what we want? 100%. Some
Mhm.
people, like you said, they stick to just yoga because that's what they love and feed off of. They thrive on it. So yeah, it isn't going to be one set thing for people. When
Right.
people look for a trainer. They have to look for what they're into, what they are liking. You know, there's swimming, there's hiking. It's just being active and finding
Yes.
your niche. Like, what is what you want to do with it, you know? So I'm glad you
Right.
brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, it was something that I was so angry at myself for so long because my sister is extremely active. She's very fit. And I'd be so mad at myself, like, why can't I be at her level? Well, my sister's level is like 100 and I'm over here like living a different lifestyle at like 60, but it works for me and I'm getting results. Is it as fast as I want it to be? Of course not. Would I love to be at my goal weight in 2 weeks? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I've found appreciation around what I've built for myself that's made me happy, content, and
Mm-hmm.
comfortable in my own skin. And I think that, like I was just saying, it goes with our age, our lifestyle. Like, try it.
Yeah.
Just go and try. Maybe one day I will go try a CrossFit, experience, and maybe I will love it and
Yeah.
want to continue. Or
You could
maybe like,
fall in love with it. Exactly.
I could, or I
Yep.
could walk away and go, holy hell. Because
Yeah.
I did like what is that, a speed bike exercise,
So
like in a group. So
there's the air bikes, the Peloton bikes. I
it,
mean,
it was,
cycling,
yeah,
all of it. But yeah,
it was cycling.
okay.
Oh yeah, it was a cycling class, and let me tell you, I didn't know your inner thighs could bruise from something like this.
Yeah.
I had no idea how hard it was going to be, and I mean, people around me are just like, they look like we were in a marathon. I'm over here just like cute pedaling because I was like, this is
Yeah.
not my jam. I'm glad I tried it, but it's just not my jam.
My younger sister, Larissa, she loves cycling, and she'll get off work doing a whole night shift at the hospital and goes to do that. And with the room
Ooh,
is dark and the lights and the music, and
yeah,
I've never tried it because Salida here doesn't really have things like that. So it would be awesome to try. But she thrives. She's doing amazing with it. So it's finding,
yeah.
like you said, it truly is. It's finding what's going to keep you active. What do you love about working out? What can you find to help you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I did love that aspect, like the DJ,
Yeah.
they did races and stuff, but it was really sad to see like my name dead last the whole time. And I was just like, golly. And I would try really hard to get past like one person. It never happened. I was like, man, I'm just at the tail end of this group, which I was like, this is fine. It's not for me. But yeah, I
At least
remember
you
just
tried it. Yeah, you
I
have to
did
try.
I did try, but I was like, I'm good on this end. But the we talked about that. So a huge reason I work out and eat healthy, we talked about it, is like the mental. The mental is like a huge factor. I was just talking about this yesterday on the video that I posted of my 100-day. I met my goal. Um, you know, I started to like clear out my head the moment I started to like really push myself into the direction of like healthy living and stuff like that. Like every day going down into the gym, the first 2 weeks was probably the hardest part because mentally I was just like so emotional with how much weight I gained in my pregnancy. Like, and I tried really hard not to be mad about it, but I was like, why wasn't I strong enough to like not eat so terribly during my pregnancy? Now I'm stuck with an additional 17 pounds of weight on me. And it was such a mental thing. And I had to push past that mental aspect to get me to a point of like routine. And you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it also, like, with women and our cycles and stuff, my period came back, I want to say in September, October. And, I told my husband, I said, best part about being pregnant is you don't have a period. And I told him, I said, I've never felt so mentally healthy my entire life. Okay. I started my periods when I was 12. Um, so after my son was born, you go through like the whole birth experience, postpartum, like there's a lot that goes into that. But once my periods came back, it was awful to get my PMDD back as well, which was my anxiety, my depression, all this stuff. And, it's not easy to want to go work out when you are on your period because everything hurts, your flow, like it is not easy. So, is there anything that we can take that's kind of like holistic and more natural than, birth control or anything like that to just kind of control those hormones? Like, is there, because I mean, there's inflammation, there's bloat, like, is there
So
anything that you can?
I would say the bloating obviously is okay. It's progesterone and estrogen in our bodies is why we tend to bloat, because you're not pregnant. So that it drops, it declines. It goes down really
Okay.
low, so you bloat. And my biggest thing I'd say with all of that is just listening to your body. Holistic approach, I mean, heating pads, movement in general, whether or not, like, because some of us get nauseous and fatigued. So if you can't really push yourself to get in a full workout, maybe go for a walk. If the weather's bad, if you have a treadmill, bouncing around, just trying to move, or really truly listening to your body. If you are that tired, and some women really truly suffer from nausea and cramps, I would just listen to
Right.
your body and take a rest, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, I know a lot of people are looking into hormone therapy replacement, and I truly feel that we all could use it because, like you said, you have a baby and then your hormones are crazy. And I was reading that anywhere from 2 to 7 years post each child it takes for your hormones to re-regulate. So I have 5 years
Yeah.
left in both my kids. And my hormones right now, I am premenopause, which is it can happen, and it's true. It can happen in anywhere from your like 32 and up to 40. And so a lot of my stuff I'm going through right now is it's just insane. I've never had hormone issues like this before in my life. So trying to find my own way about it has been going to somebody for hormone therapy replacement. It's not even in the works. There's an appointment, so I can't even stress about how is this going to go down? What are they doing for me? I can in the future talk about it, but I'm definitely looking for help with mine because I do have a lot of hormone issues right now, and it sucks and it isn't fun.
Yeah.
But the more I work out when I'm on that time of the month, the better I do feel. I will say, like, the very first day or two, I don't do anything crazy. I stick to just
Mhm.
trying to be active and walking and stretching and feeling good because my first 2 days are the roughest. But then after that, I start to get my energy back and my mood swings are not as crazy. And but I do feel like it is a lot for women. Um, and yeah, it adds, if we're not working out, if we're eating poorly, if we're chronically stressed, if we're not sleeping well, that all plays a factor into those hormones, not just your body, but your monthly. It truly does.
Yeah.
So being as conscious as you can of what you're eating and how much time you're taking to, if you are working out, you have rest days. You have to rest and recover. So really, truly taking those rest days, getting good sleep, prioritizing you in general. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's self-care. We need certain things for self-care. Like, even if it's just a 10-minute break of putting on meditation music, that has been a game changer for me. Sometimes I just need a little bit of a timeout. I go and get my husband. I'm like, I need a timeout. Just 10 minutes to myself. Help
Yeah.
me out.
It's huge. We do need it, especially as moms. And
Yeah.
especially, I mean, I shouldn't say stay at home mom, because if you're working the 9 to 5 and then coming home and rushing around to do everything, I don't know how women do it anymore. I haven't had to work thanks to my husband in a while. And but I do work at home. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to not give the stay-at-home mom credit because it's all go, no quit, So getting that few minutes of alone time to just woo-saw and breathe again, it's nice. Like when I'm in the shower, I'm like, yes, like you just need
Oh,
a minute
yeah.
to breathe and reset.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been playing my meditation music while I'm in the shower because it gives me a spa experience. Because
Yeah.
I'm literally finding my little treasures here and there. I'm picking at them. I'm like,
Yep.
how can I keep
It's the
myself like,
simple things that we never really truly took, gratitude
oh, yeah.
for until now.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's as simple as like being able to do laundry in my house because I went from apartment for like 13 plus years of coins and taking my
Oh
clothes
Lord,
down
yeah.
4 flights of stairs and 4 flights up, like timing it and stuff. Like, no, like I am so grateful in my life. I'm just
Yeah.
so grateful. Yeah, it's all about self-care. I mean, it's as simple as if you just need even an hour to yourself, if you have a partner to like help you in that way, whether it's a bath, if it's working out. My husband was so supportive of me. Every morning at 6 a.m., I get my butt down into the gym and I get my hour to 2 hours to myself. That was medicine for me.
It
It
is.
was
It truly is. I
it
can't
was
stress
essential.
enough like how, again, I'm not a doctor. Some people do need that extra help with mental health.
100%.
But a lot of it too, though, if you just truly try to like you said, move, keep your body moving, get into a routine, eating good, getting sunlight, it truly does help make a difference with, again, I'm not the doctor. People always sometimes do need an extra little bit of help, but you can start there and you can add to
Yeah.
what you're doing too to only make it better, if you're, yeah.
I agree 100%. Before we wrap up our little session here, um, I was just talking about support and motivating, um, motivating, like motivation for yourself. I'm
Mhm.
just curious, like, how do you motivate yourself every day? Like, what is your why?
So, okay, well, we'll go with my why. My why is definitely I want to be here for my kids as long as I can. I exactly that. Like they're my why, and my husband. I should include him, but I want we're close in age, so but my why is
Yeah,
my family, right? But
there you go.
I'm not gonna sit here and lie and tell you that on the daily I am motivated, because I will be the first to tell you it isn't always there. 100% it is not there. But the biggest thing is discipline, and having a set routine. I like my routines of how everything plays out. In the morning, getting up, I have a set routine. Let's put it that way. Sometimes I switch it up, but for the most part, just staying disciplined. I feel like it comes down to discipline and mindset
Yeah.
that, I might not want to be out here working out, but I'm going to feel better after I do it. My kids are watching, so they're going to know that mom always pushed through. Um, and if you tell yourself, yes, I can do this, let's get it done and stuff, like slowly start with routine and habit, that becomes discipline, and then it just becomes more of a normal. So I want, like I said, my why is my family, but my motivation is not always there. But I do find little things here and there to motivate me on the random. It would be, Rozzy being successful in something, or, Dominic when he was in football and, so excited to go practice and stuff. It just, things like that kept pushing me. My clients and helping them, like I'm not going to sit here and not take care of myself when I'm helping you, right? Like we feed off each other, and I have to be the trainer here. I can't just not show up. So,
I know. I mean, it's a good why to have. I literally, I fear the future in the sense of if I don't take care of myself, what is going to happen? Because my family, like health history, we have dementia and Alzheimer's,
yep. So do we.
and it's a scary thought. My grandmother, I love her. She unfortunately passed away um in a care facility specifically designed for, Alzheimer's and dementia. And I told my husband, I said, man, if I don't do something, my fear is being that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I I don't want to ever deal with cancer or anything like that. Like I'm healthy now. Why am I going to poison the well, so
Yep.
to speak? Like feed my body things that I know are not great for me. And also, why not move my body when there's so many people out there that are wheelchair bound,
Yep.
bedridden. I mean, I am grateful. I've never been so grateful in my life, Jess, to like sit in my body.
Yeah.
You know, high school, middle school, I absolutely hated myself for so many reasons. And it was all based on how I looked and how I felt. And that's a terrible place to sit in for so long. But now that I've had my son, I think when I saw like what my body can do, and every workout that was super, super hard, I sat there and I was like, you gave birth.
Yep.
Like, suck it up.
Yeah.
You can do hard things. And I
Yep.
think like my son has become my absolute purpose in my world. Yes, I love my husband, but there's
Yeah.
something about us moms and our babies. But literally, I was just like, that is my why. My why is being present for the rest of his life and also for the rest of mine. I
Yep.
don't want to wake up one day in a care facility and not know who the heck I am and where I came from. Like it's a scary thought. So give myself this opportunity while I'm in my 30s to get it together and put me first for a change. You know what I'm saying? And like give myself the best possible outcome that I can, because I'm blessed to be sitting here in good health right now. Like let's continue this journey on that path. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to get back to your fitness business. I know we're running out of time here for you. Like, do you want to talk about how, like, what is your structure for your business? How much you are? Like, what are we doing?
So I run it virtually or online. I have thought about doing some in personal training here at my small gym. But it would have to work out insurance policies and, have somebody watch Roslyn and find time. So it never really worked like that yet. In the future, I want my own gym. I will put that out there now. It will happen. I'm putting it out there.
That's awesome.
But as of right now, it's virtually online and it's through an app that I use. And that is how every routine is created. And it's tailored to you and what you need. Gym, home, both. If you're beginner, if you're advanced, it comes, with details and videos and pictures. It's basically its own little platform that I use, and that we, me and the client will connect through. We can chat through it. We can text through it. And then it's just set up however, they feel okay, 3 to 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 2 rest days. And that's, basically it's on your phone. That's the convenience of it, is that it's on your phone. It's right there with you. You can talk to me. I like to do weekly check-ins with my clients. If they have a question throughout the week, though, I'm readily available right there. And that's what I love, is that I'm an open book. I'm right here for you. And so, yeah, it's based out of my home. All of my videos that I put out there, my certifications I hold are personal training through ISSA, personal trainer, and nutrition. And I'm currently working on my Pilates one. I will have that in June, completely done. So I'll be certified in those 3, which is awesome, because I cannot wait to really start with the Pilates aspect. Like there's some stuff that was already taught in training, personal training, that can be relatable, but there is a lot more Pilates moves that I cannot wait to share and dive into. And then payment wise, right now, my fee for monthly training with me is $120. Could that potentially go up because everything else in the world is? Maybe, but that's not the thing for me. I'm not really worried about it at this point. I just like helping people. Form of payment, not that that is anything relevant, but since we're talking about it all and you asked, it's through Venmo. That's the only way that I use it, because I'm kind of nervous about using all of those forms of stuff. So I keep it simple, but I have intake sheets. I like to get to know the client. So I have them fill it out. That just everything. I try to be as detailed as possible to get to know you. If it's not someone I know, or, you live far away or whatever, and we can't actually meet in person. So I get to know you, and I just, get out there and help and show correct form and be there to help, not drill sergeant you, but push you and motivate you, and, just be there for women, men. All my clients, I'm not gonna lie, they're all women. That's pretty much, I want to help women. I'm going to put it out there. We all need the help. We want to feel good. I want women to look in the mirror and love themselves. I don't want it to be, but from the inside out. Going to the nutrition aspect, I want them to feel good, literally, truly feel good. not just, yeah, I look good in a swimsuit, you know, like feel good though, because it truly starts inside out, mindset and everything. You have to love yourself, you know, and realize that every body like type is different. Results will be different in, you know, compared to the next person and stuff, because I feel on social media we scroll and we see these other women and we're like, God, like, you know, and I'll be honest, I've fallen prey before to it, like, why can't I look like her? What am I not doing? But then I'm like, stop it. You are you, and you busted your butt for where you were at, and you are healthy and doing what you need to do for you. And that's where I feel like I can help women love
Yes.
themselves, you know.
And I love that you touched on that for a hot second. It literally is love yourself enough to start.
Mm-hmm. Take the step.
That is the seed that's going to grow. Because if you don't love yourself in this process, you're going to hate yourself through it. And that serves no purpose in your heart, in your soul. It's certainly not going to get you to your goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an empty void that you're not going to fill. So if you can love yourself for just even starting the process, as hard and as ugly as it's going to be, because it is an emotional journey. It
It's
really is.
extremely emotional.
It's very emotional. A lot of things have come lifting out of my own journey, and the path that I'm taking right now. And it all started with I love myself enough to get downstairs and start my process, even though it is the hardest thing I've ever done. Because it was. I was at my heaviest because, I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. But it didn't minimize like how difficult it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I showed up for myself every day. I showed
Yep.
up for the person I knew was waiting for me.
Exactly.
And right now I'm sitting with none of the baby weight, and now I'm at the point where I was when we got pregnant. And I wasn't happy with myself then. But now I'm sitting in a whole different mindset of I love myself so much more because I've shed a bunch of stuff. It wasn't just weight. I shed a bunch of like shame, guilt, all these things. And you've kind of discover that through the therapy of working out and eating right.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it is such a mind trip
Yeah.
of what's going to come out of your journey. And that's what I think you and I both agree on. Like we want to help women in those directions.
Yeah. It
Um,
takes it takes time and patience. And I know people want the results instantly, but it's so much more rewarding. And I always say, take the picture, take the starting picture, because when you look back and you see how much you have done for yourself and how far you have come, it's only going to push you that much further. But to be
100%.
prepared that it is going to take time, but not to throw in the towel, because it's so rewarding and worth it. When people are going out and having, sorry to say it, lipo done, or all these new fads of certain drugs that you can inject yourself with and lose weight, I think it's a cop out. Do you need it sometimes if you're diabetic and obese and that's the start? Yes, again, sometimes. But for those that don't and they just don't want to put in the work and stuff, I hate it. I
I
think it's
know.
bad. It's horrible. It's like, put in the work, do it for you, find that grit and that passion about yourself. If
I agree.
like you have to, again, it goes back to, you have to want it. So
Oh yeah. And I do want to say, like, on your behalf, as far as it goes with like being my coach, because we're starting the process tomorrow as far as it goes with like the actual breathing techniques, the
yep.
exercises. I'm so excited to dive in. But before that, it was the initial conversation. I literally was just, it like hit me. It was like, ping, I need to work with Jessica. I really need to work with her for so many reasons. And so I hit you up and you immediately got back to me, which I love. Like, I'm not sitting here like waiting and wondering, like, oh, will she contact me? No, it was like, oh my gosh, Lauren wants to work with me. Absolutely. And then you sent me everything, the contract and the intake form. And the intake form itself was so nice to fill out because like I felt like, you know, I was in a good space for this. Like I was really like prepared as far as like my answers were. I felt good about everything that I put on the paper. And once we talked about what I need to do for myself, like where I'm at to hit my certain goals, you told me straight up, you're here for me, but you're also not going to like push me with like a, you know, hot poker. You are standing next to me, but you're not holding my hand, Jess, but you are supporting me. Like I feel you like right here and you're telling me like everything that I need to do. And I am going to do it because my heart is in it and I'm ready for that. But what I can appreciate from you as a coach, I've worked with other people like I said in the public setting of gyms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It was more of like, you know, oh, only if you want to, like, yeah, do this. Oh, you're not there yet. Well, you know, we'll see where we're at tomorrow. It just the chemistry wasn't there. It wasn't a great thing. Like I
Yeah, that's
love
a
your
big part of it. I feel like you have to connect with your trainer, and if something doesn't feel right, or if you're not, I don't want to say vibes, but if you just don't feel like that's your person, then
yeah,
look again. If you know, like you kind of have to create a bond and be able to understand that that trainer is going to push but not poke, you know,
yeah,
and to trust them, but the client, you know, back and forth. It's a trust thing too, you know, like, okay, you're trusting me to help you. I'm trusting you to do the things, but tell me if something is like not what you want, or it's got to be communication too.
of course. But like I love that you're a no bullshit kind of gal. Like literally.
We
You're
don't
like,
sugarcoat
you
it.
know, right. I mean, you need to, for me as the client, I am ready for pushing myself to get to where I want to be. So I'm ready to try new things. I'm ready to, you know, do what I need to do. We've talked about like tracking macros and things like that,
Mhm.
and we are in a good space for my plan, you and I. But if it changes, I know that I can come to you and be like, all right, here we go. This is what I would like to see. And you're ready for me on that.
Mhm.
We have been in constant communication. So as it goes, like for you being my coach, like I feel super confident in you and I feel like there is this trust, this bond, and I know I'm going to get results. It doesn't matter how long it takes me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
People need to let go of that expectation
Yeah,
of, you
that's
know,
the biggest thing.
I've been working with this person for X amount of time. Why haven't I? No, no, no. It's your body is going to do what it's supposed to do in the time that it needs to get done. You just need to show up and try every single day, show up and try.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm so grateful that you and I get to have this meeting with each other because I want other people to understand and, you know, follow you and appreciate everything that you're putting out there. Like you're going to change a lot of women's lives in such
Mm,
a positive fashion. I
thank you.
really, truly believe that. And I'm excited to see, you know, an actual gym come up in fruition for you.
Right?
Whenever
Hopefully.
that happens, knock on wood. I think you put it out there into the universe, we're going to make some magic happen. But I'm just so grateful that you have stepped into my life when, you know, I reached out to you initially for all of this. And you
Yes.
and I know what that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm grateful for you. So, you know, I hope more businesses attracted to you. I think that you're going to be an excellent coach for me. And, you know, for everybody that's been following my journey, like, let's see where I'm at for my birthday come June. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at. That's
Mhm.
where I'm at. And I'm just so excited to be walking this path with you. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
Oh, of course.